Yo, it's been a while since I've been back in my car, but I thought this was a perfect time to make a good video. We talk about, the community talk about toxic masculinity, and it can exist. It definitely does exist, because men, what toxic masculinity is a man using his physical superiority to dominate a woman. You know, he might do some domestic violence. He might do things in such a way. I mean, if you think about it, most religion has toxic masculinity in it, most religions. But we never talk about toxic femininity. We never talk about that. That exists. If one can't exist without the other. Prime example, the court system. Toxic femininity is women being able to keep you from your kids strategically while having you on child support. Toxic femininity hates masculinity just as well as toxic masculinity hates femininity. I'm gonna try to say it right this time. Toxic masculinity hates femininity, and toxic femininity hates masculine, because the masculine and feminine is supposed to naturally work together, hand in hand, balance. One over the other would make it toxic. Too much of everything is bad for you. Too much of anything is bad for you. You might have this toxic feminine energy is when everything is feminized. They leave no room for the masculine. Men can't be men no more. Men can't say how they feel. LGBTQ, however you say it, because I'm really being genuine when I'm not being disingenuous when I say it, but I'm not into the hype of it, because I have gay friends, I have straight friends, and as long as they respect me as a heterosexual man, then we're good. But fast forward, if a man chooses, and I had an argument where I chose not to see a trans woman, which is really a man. I choose not to see them as women because I'm not gonna choose to look at them as my counterpart. You're still a man. I feel like God didn't make no mistake making you. So with that being said, if you were born a man in my eyes, you're still a man. So this person says you're misgendering me. I said, but if I misgendered you, then so did God. If you can be, and this is what kills me about black women who try to justify and say respect them if they want to be women. If you can change your sex, can you not change your race? Do we not remember Rachel Dozer, who pretended to be a black woman for all of these years, and it come out that she was white, and then she used her white power to try to go against the NAACP? Have we forgotten about that? If you can switch your genders, then you can switch your race. They both biological. It's not apples and oranges. I don't care what nobody say. So I don't agree with it, just as well as I don't agree with Rachel Dozer can change her race. She was born white, and she will always be white. So, looking at it from what I'm looking at it from the standpoint I'm in now, I understand it so much better. Toxic masculinity exists, but so does toxic femininity. Men can't think like men no more. Women tell you what they want out of a man, and then when they get it, they don't want it anymore. It's not a feminized world where men can't be men anymore. It's toxic. If a man can't be a man in his form, if feminine energy is fighting against natural masculinity, then that feminine energy is toxic, because feminine is not supposed to overshadow masculine, just like masculine is not supposed to overshadow feminine. It's supposed to be balanced, yin and yang. Too much light, you can't see anything. Too much dark, you won't see nothing. But the perfect balance. Life full of pleasure is nothing to work for. Life full of pain with no pleasure is not a life worth living. That's why people say pull the plug, because their quality of life is gone. There's nothing else for me here when you go through it. So it does exist. Another example of toxic feminine energy. Toxic femininity. Another example. When you have women out here that comes off and a woman try to strip a man of his will to take care of his family, being head of the household. If I'm head of my household and you try to overshadow it, because the balance is, at the end of the day, I make the final decision as the head of the household. Because guess what? If I let you make the decisions and we fail, it's not the feminine's fault. It's the masculine fault, because I'm supposed to be the head of the household. So no matter where you lead us to, it's my fault for leading you. That's why if you read the Bible, Adam tried to use that sense of, hey, yo, it was that woman who gave me that fruit. God wasn't buying it, because you're the man. If you're the man, I don't want to hear how she tricked you into eating the fruit. You are the leader. So if you come and try to stop me from holding my rightful place as the man of the house, you have toxic femininity. And if if a masculine man who's not toxic end up with a woman with toxic femininity and he puts up with it, guess what's going to happen? He's gonna lose the toxicity in that femininity will make him lose some of his masculinity by putting up with it, because a natural masculine man will not put up with it. No different than a toxic masculine man coming into a regular feminine woman's life and decrease the value in her femininity, because by the time she get with a new man that's in his right masculine frame, that's not toxic, but she already got toxic femininity, so she's going to be spreading him. See, toxic spreads. That's why it's important to heal after a relationship, especially in the melanated community, because I don't like to use the word black. Especially in the melanated community, we dwell on toxicity. We grew up in a household to where, hey, yo, after mom and dad got done fighting, they said, I love you. And that put into our brains that, okay, this is what love is. So when somebody shows us what real love is, we don't know how to handle it, because now this is what it is. This is what real love's supposed to feel like. We supposed to, all right, we're not arguing, then something's wrong. This person don't love me. There are women that have literally told me that they feel like if they man don't hit her, that they don't love her. That's toxic. She's been with a toxic man so much that she turned into a toxic woman. A toxic feminine woman look for that. You got to understand, you are what you look for. If you look for problems, you become the problem. If you look for drama, you are the drama. But if you look for solution, you become the solution. You are what you look for. If you look for peace, you are peaceful. So, but we live in a toxic femininity world, because toxic femininity raised to try to project toxic masculinity over masculinity that's not necessarily toxic, but more so the right type of masculinity. I'm supposed to protect you. I'm supposed to guide you and lead you. I'm supposed to do that because I'm the head of the household. When you get married to me, you take my last name. That's a form, and it's a form of submission, because like I said, I propose to you. I initiate the submission. You taking my last name, you're reciprocating the submission. I don't take your last name, you take my last name. I just want to make this a point, because toxic femininity do exist. If toxic masculinity exists, so do toxic femininity. Continue to embrace greatness and walk in positivity. Let the light in you shine so bright that it illuminate the path for others to see it themselves. Always go within so you don't go without.